Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Dexter's Diary. Today I want to talk about words. Um, so I was talking with someone close to me yesterday, and we started talking about family and things like that, and he asked me about where I'm from and so on and so forth. And, I guess with the whole thing with Trump and the Haiti debacle, I'm not going to go into that because politics are really, really touchy. So I'm just going to leave that part alone. But we got to talking and talked about our parents and such. And for me, things got a little bit emotional. And it got me to thinking about words. And a lot of times, and I mean, I guess you can see it everywhere. Like, we talk about affirmations and how to affirm ourselves. And that sounds great and all. I mean, I do them. But what about the words that we haven't gotten from people that we care about? Those of you who know my story know that I grew up in foster care and everything else. But up until a couple years ago, I was kind of estranged from my mother, and primarily my mother. Me and my dad are cool, but by extension, you can't go home and visit your dad. You got to visit your parents. So he kind of got caught up in the loop, which is kind of fucked up, but it is what it is. So up until like maybe a couple years ago, we sat down and we really had a conversation. We had this talk, and I think it was something I needed to. It was something that needed to happen, and it wasn't gonna happen before its time. We tried previously, and things got crazy and out of hand, and it just wasn't time, And so we finally sat down on my terms that she agreed to. And we had this talk. And it made me realize, like, I've been able to get through my life without seeking validation from outside forces, outside people. Like, which is no small feat. A lot of us need or want validation from people outside of us, whether it be our friends, our family, our peers, whatever. But to be able to do that without is no small feat. And it's not like I'm giving myself a pat on the back or accolades. I'm just saying I know it's difficult. So when the opportunity presents itself for you to receive certain accolades from important people in your life, it can move you. And I didn't realize that I had spent most of my life living. I mean, I was living, but I went my whole life without hearing anyone tell me that they were proud of me, right? And it was something that I had to tell myself, like, all right, I did this, like, I'm doing well, I got this, I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, whatever I needed to tell myself in whatever moment to get through whatever I needed to get through. But I think one of the most pivotal moments was the day that my mom told me she was proud of me. And it was something, I thought I didn't need it. I thought I was good without it. But hearing it, feeling that way and hearing it didn't stop it from having the impact that it did on me. Because it just was something I had already decided that I probably would never hear it. Like, I don't live my life on my parents' terms, and that may have been part of the discord, but it is what it is. I that's just me. That's just me. So I had already like settled in the fact that I would probably never hear it from her. And my dad tells me he's proud of me all the time. But I mean, like, it's kind of one-sided, you know? But hearing it from her really did have a profound effect. And it got me to thinking, like, what are the words that we're not hearing from those pivotal people in our lives that are stopping us from living our lives? You know, like, there are people out there, those of us who do everything for that validation and never get it. And has that stopped you from fully living your life? Is it really that important to you? And for those of us who haven't received those, and as not and aren't on the path to feeling like we'll receive them, how are you living your life? Do those words really have an impact? And they do. I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, and I really do hate to admit it, I thought I could go my whole life without it. And I know for some of my peers that I'm really close to, they'll probably never hear it. And it makes me sad because I know the pain that sits behind that. And I know what it is to have someone in your life tell you, someone you care about, tell you that they're proud of you, that they see your efforts, that they see the good in you. Even at those times when you really don't see it in yourself, but you gotta be your own cheerleader because that's what you're used to. I'm really like containing myself. So, it's you know, they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. But I really don't believe in that. I feel like words do have power, and especially when you are in a place of honoring where it's coming from. And even if you don't feel like that's what you're doing, the reality is we do need these words. We do need words of encouragement. We do need words of affirmation. We do need to feel like we're good enough, that our efforts are not in vain. But what do you do when you don't have that? You know, like, your life doesn't stop because someone doesn't tell you like you're good enough. Life doesn't stop because someone hasn't told you that they're proud of you. So what do you do when you haven't gotten it? What do you do? So, it took a long time for me to get to that place, to even be in a space of receiving that. I don't even know if she would have told me before, would it have meant anything? But I guess in the space of healing, in the space of retribution and coming together, it set the tone for it even to happen, for it even to mean anything in the time and space that it was happening. It's funny, like, dredging up things that you thought were buried, things that you thought that you didn't need, but I think we're all just little children looking for validation. We're all just little kids reaching our hands up for our mom or our dad to hold our hand, to be reassured. And everyone doesn't have that. But I say all this to say, like, you can't stop living. You can't stop striving for better. You can't let that be what holds you back. Fortunately enough, my parents are alive. But what happens if you're an orphan, or, you know, you just are really estranged from your family altogether? What do you do then? Your friends aren't always going to tell you, and a lot of times we may not even have the best friends to even be able to tell us that. Some people have really crappy, fucked up friends. So what do you do then? And I guess that's where the personal affirmations come in. You have to tell yourself that you're proud of yourself. And it doesn't have to be a huge monumental accomplishment. Even little things, like we have to learn to celebrate ourselves regardless of what's going on outside of us. Those are important. I mean, like for one person, getting your hair done might not mean anything, and for somebody else that might mean the world, because you don't know what their finances are. You don't know what's going on in their life. They may not be able to get their hair done every week or every 2 weeks. So if they got their hair done this month, this week, this day, it means something. They might not be able to get sneakers all the time or be able to go out and have lunch and do certain things. Like, so when they have it, it means a lot. It means a lot more. We take these things for granted because we have access to them and forget that there are many people who don't. Celebrate your successes. I don't know why I feel so, like my heart is beating like crazy. I don't typically, like I cried last night, having this conversation, and I feel like I spent so much time not crying that anytime now with growth and with introspection and letting things go, anytime something happens that remotely feels emotional, like I get that feeling of like I'm gonna spill. So you gotta celebrate yourself. You may not have other people to do it for you, and you may not ever get those words that you're seeking or you want from your parents or from your friends, from your peers, but you gotta celebrate yourself. Because you have to. Like, I don't think there's even any I can't even say there's no other course for me. Like, you have to. So you have to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you're proud of yourself. And it may not have as much of a profound effect, but it will have a profound effect nonetheless. You gotta tell yourself. You gotta give yourself these accolades for yourself. Because life goes on, and everyone, my case may not be a particularly special case. I know many of children that have been in foster care and grown-ups that have been in foster care, and some things just didn't end well. It is what it is. Life goes on. I just been fortunate enough for it to work out the way that it did. It took a long time. Don't get it twisted. It took a hell of a long time, but it finally is coming together. It's coming together. Like, we're still working on our relationship. We're still working on building that bridge. Like, it's there. We're still not quite in the middle yet, but the fact that we're even in that space to be able to do that is still amazing nonetheless. So tell yourself that you love yourself. Tell yourself that you're proud of yourself. Tell yourself everything that you need to tell yourself, because you may not have anyone else to do it for you, or no one else is doing it for you, but you still need to hear those words. I love you. I'm proud of you. You're bomb as hell. I know you're doing the best you can, and I hope this meets you in a place where it's just a really good place. I was trying to make it sound all deep, but it didn't pan out like that. But you get where I'm going with this. I love you. I'm proud of you. You're amazing. Till next time. Bye.